Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole, hosted by two nationally published Atlanta interior designers, Julianne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. These energetic women are also world travelers, charity givers, and bloggers with a wealth of information to share and stories to tell about the interior design world. Okay, now just a warning, this is going to be fun and not too serious. After all, they still do have an interior design business running at full speed.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This is episode 136. Today we have a really interesting guest. We're going to be talking about monetizing your social media and getting your face on camera with our good friend Julianne Taylor. Julianne is a Charleston, South Carolina-based product designer, content creator, and a mindset speaker. She was recently named top 25 TikTok marketing experts to follow by ViralStat. She has a BFA in interior design and a master's degree in human resources. She marries creativity and a strong business acumen to help entrepreneurs scale their businesses. She's also the author of one of my favorite books called Design Her, which she published in 2016. She has licensed collections of wallpaper, artwork, and tabletop items sold through retail outlets such as Home Goods and Anthropologie. Woo, I'm getting tired. She's also the founder of Taylor Burke Home, a custom-to-the-trade luxury upholstery company that's made in North Carolina. We met Julianne in a small corner spot at High Point Market when she first started that business. And what she has accomplished since then is really quite remarkable. We can't wait to get all the details, but first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, who is Gabby Home. Gabby Home is where livable luxury is more than a look. Gabby's the go-to brand for fresh, transitional design pieces that strike the perfect balance between form and function. Their design team curates the most exquisite selection of designs across all furniture categories with customizable features and fabrics to suit any style in every setting. Partner with Gabby to provide your clients with great style, service, and all the resources needed to create beautiful living spaces. You can visit Gabby at To The Trade showrooms in Atlanta, High Point, and Dallas. Or you can find Gabby online to access details, dimensions, product photos, and real-time product availability. For a special offer, just through this podcast, you can go to gabbyhome.com/KK. One of the great things I have to say for us as designers during the pandemic has been the large number of items Gabby had in stock and ready to ship, which saved us on several projects. So thank you, Gabby, for sponsoring us. So now I'm so excited. Welcome, Julianne.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here.
Are you in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina?
I am, and it's sunny today. It's a beautiful day today.
It's always a beautiful day in Charleston in my eyes. But anyway, all right. So there's really a lot to talk about because you are really quite famous. You are what would be called a successful influencer. So this term gets kind of thrown around, and I'm just kind of curious to hear your words. Like, what do you think the definition of an influencer is?
So I do think the word influencer gets a bit of a bad rap. But the way that I would define it is if one person has ever bought something, made a recipe, eaten at a restaurant that you recommended, you are a person of influence. And that's really what it boils down to. So in today's world, pretty much anyone can be an influencer.
And then there's something called, we've been told that we're micro-influencers, which I believe just means that we have influence, but we don't have a gazillion followers. We have a smaller group of followers, but they're just real followers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that a lot of what's considered micro-influencers, and those are individuals that have smaller followings, in many cases, micro-influencers have a much higher engaged community, which is why a lot of brands prefer to work with micro-influencers because your community is really dialed in. They're very engaged in what you're recommending and your content, and in many cases you have a lot more conversions on a product that you might position to sell to that community.
You said that very well. So you have really, really been successful at this marketing via Instagram and TikTok. So what is the secret sauce? What advice can you give to people that really want to get better at this?
Well, I I sort of fell into being an influencer. You know, when I met you lovely ladies over a decade ago, I was launching Taylor Burke Home, a custom to the trade upholstery company. And because I did all of the product development for that company, I started getting approached by other companies to do product design for them. And when my wallpaper collections and artwork and other things started coming out, they asked me to style and shoot these collections in my own home. You know, as you said, I wrote a book. I went on a book tour. I had to have things to wear. People wanted to dress me. I just sort of fell into content creation and being an influencer. So what a lot of people don't know when they see me online is that that's not my full-time gig. You know, I do love to create content. I love to share easy tips and tricks with my community, but it's not my full-time gig. I certainly think you can make it a full-time gig. I think that the secret to being in the content creation space is to, first and foremost, approach your community from a place of service. When I show up online, I'm sharing easy mocktail recipes, colorful tablescapes, DIY home decor, things that help me as a busy mom, that is of service to the people that see my content. And I think that out of that grows engagement and trust with your community. And what I like to do is partner with brands on a long-term basis where I'm sharing products that I love and use all the time. And so it's sort of a natural connection. I do think, to answer your question, regardless of what business you're in, people want to buy from people that they like and trust. And one of the best ways to build that trust right now is to get your face on video. And especially on the TikTok platform, it's so different than Instagram. You know, we've all been on Instagram for a decade now, and there's this perfection that is required of Instagram. And you're starting to see less of that with Reels. People are getting real, REAL, with Reels. But even more so on TikTok, I've been able to build an even much bigger community there because they don't care if you have a messy top knot or if you have dirty dishes in the sink or if you're walking and talking while you're out jogging. It's less perfection over on that platform. And I think that really helps anyone that has a business to build trust with their community because you're showing the real side of yourself.
I totally agree. I have really been enjoying TikTok, and I have to say that I learn so much from it. And I was listening to Gary Vee speak, who talked about the difference between TikTok and some of the other social channels is that TikTok's algorithm is all about what you're interested in, not who you socialize with. So if you're interested in recipes and if you're liking those things and you're interested in, a tablescape, and you spend time on there and you're liking those things, they're going to give you more of that. And that's what I think is so cool about TikTok.
It's really fascinating. I mean, just within the last few weeks, there are some news articles that have come out that are saying TikTok is the new Google.
I believe it.
That is fascinating to me that people are now going to TikTok as a search engine instead of Google. And I think the impact of that is tremendous in the years to come. And you'll see people, I say it all the time, I'm like, here's a tip I learned on TikTok. I mean, there are so many things that I will share with my family and they'll say, did you learn that on TikTok? I'm like, yes, mommy learned it on TikTok.
Yeah. I share things with my husband all the time. He's kind of like a clean freak, and the cleaning people on there, some of the things I've learned, it's so great. You feel like you're getting great tips.
It's mind-blowing.
I know. All right, so let me just add, this might be a hard question to answer, but I know it probably depends on the hard work, the consistency that you're posting and all that. But people have got to be making money off of this. People wouldn't be on there doing all this. So how can you explain to us, like, what is like the income, the perks that people can expect? Like, do you get like a few pieces of clothing and some home decor items to talk about? Do you just get a little extra few bucks for lunch? Are you making a car payment? Are you making a mortgage payment? Maybe it's all of it.
It is. It's all of it. And I think that you can make as little or as much as you would like to. I think the misperception in the marketplace is that, it took you 3 minutes to make that video. No, it took 3 hours to make that video. The work involved in creating content is quite intense. It's just like any other job of videoing, editing, voiceover, all the things, and posting it. However, there are people out there making 6 figures as a full-time content creator. I will tell you it's a significant portion. It's about 40% of my overall income is just from content creation. It's several mortgage payments a month is what I would say. And, for me to do a TikTok campaign, that's into the thousands. So, and it's not just creating the content. Where influencers can really make money is I look at myself as someone who's creating a digital ad for a brand. So brands will take that piece of content and then run ad spend on the back end. That's where I really make my money is I charge for the piece of content, but then if they want to run ads for 30, 60, 90 days, if they also want that raw file to post on their own page, if they want to send it out in an email blast or what have you, that's residual income that I make off of that one piece of content. So
it is fascinating, and it is hard work. I know it is hard work.
It is. And it's just like anything. I mean, people see these and they're like, oh, that took nothing to me. It's just like any other job. It's a lot of hard work. And I really try to work with about 3 brands a month. And that's really the bandwidth that I have. But if you think about a few $1,000s per brand partnership, you can do the math on that.
Okay, wonderful. So based on your wonderful influence, tell us how it came to be that you were on the Today Show this past May.
Well, if anyone's like, TikTok's just for dancing and it's just, that's just tweens dancing, I'm here to prove you wrong, to tell you need to get your face on camera. The Today Show found me on TikTok.
That is so unbelievable.
How crazy is that? They were filming on location in Hilton Head. They were looking for someone in the Carolinas, and they found me on TikTok. And I have gotten some amazing speaking engagements, trainings, all brand partnerships, all kinds of things because I landed on someone's For You page on TikTok.
I watched that whole episode.
Well, here's the one thing I would just add to that is that I think sometimes what holds people back from getting on, because there might be someone listening that's just like, well, that sounds great and all, and I have this, interior design business, or I sell a home decor product, and like, what would I have to offer? And, how do I even plan for that content? And what I would say is, shift away from the idea of content creation and all the involvement of like, how do I plan that? And, what feels overwhelming. Shift away from content creation to documentation. Just start documenting your life, what you're doing, a day in the life of an interior designer, or a day in the life if you're, selling a product, packing an order, doing an install at a client's house, whatever it is. That behind the scenes content is interesting. People are nosy. They are interested in what you do every day. Documenting your life and then pull those clips together to create a piece of content to share. And I think I share that a lot with people to say, that way sometimes I think it feels less overwhelming.
Well, it's very organic what you're doing. This is a day in the life of. Right now, you could see me. I'm sitting here in this podcast studio, and you can look at all my equipment, and you can look at the ring light we have in here and all that we've got going on in here. And we just do it every other week, and it's feels normal to us, but to somebody else could look at this and think, wow, so that's what it takes to have a podcast. Yeah, people are interested and we just forget. And we're so worried about our face on camera. So how do people get past that? Because Kelly and I still have some of that. honestly, believe it or not.
Here's my best piece of advice. Just do it scared. Just do it scared. Everybody's scared.
Oh,
Everybody's nervous.
That's a good hashtag.
Everybody's nervous. Everybody has butterflies. There's a great TikToker that I follow. Her name's Elise Myers, and she created a TikTok around, I just do it scared. And it really resonated with me. And I tell people, I'm like, just do things scared. Just do it scared. Everybody's scared. And also, everybody started at zero. Remember that every person you see out there that's built some great following on social media, there was a day where they had 0 followers.
That's so true.
You know, what I like to tell people is, because it is, again, overwhelming to think about planning your content of what you're going to share.
Kind of shuts you down. You kind of shut down right there.
And just stop focusing on planning that and just be the content. Just be the content. Create it, share it, don't think about it, move on to the next one. If nobody sees it, who cares? Nobody saw my first 10 videos either.
You are such a good teacher, Julianne. I know that you are a big cheerleader for women. You always have been. And mindset really does play an important role in people's success. There's no doubt about that. So, like, what kind of stuff do you talk about? I feel like just in the few minutes that we've talked, you've already given such good advice.
I think that what I see is, as women, we are socialized in many instances to make ourselves smaller, to not be too loud, to not take up too much space, to not be too much. And what I want to champion and to encourage people is to stop making ourselves smaller. I've been told I'm too much. That's okay. I'm not going to make myself less. I might be too much for someone, but that's okay. They can find someone who's less for them. And I think as women, we do fight that in society of trying to be polite, trying to be proper, trying to be not too loud. And I always want to encourage people to show up authentically and to advocate for the expertise and value that we all bring to the table. And what I really talk about a lot as a mindset speaker is, how do you show up and own your expertise? How do you advocate for the value, the unique value that you bring to the table? Because we all have that. We all have a unique voice. And it's something that I'm super passionate about. And I think as women, if we weren't so busy tearing each other down, we could rule the world.
I agree. So where do you speak? Like, are you coaching now? What are you doing?
I do coaching, but honestly, I don't have as much time for coaching. I only take on a handful of clients to do that. But what I'm super passionate about is talking with women's retreats and women's conferences, anything where there is a group of individuals that are business focused or busy moms that are really struggling in how to show up authentically and really advocate for the value that they bring to the table. That's something I'm super passionate about right now.
That's wonderful. All right, give us a day in the life. Like, what is a normal, probably isn't really a normal day, but kind of what does a certain week look like for you?
Well, right now during the summer, I am sort of Uber mom. My husband travels a lot for his job. And so there's some days I'm in the car 6 times to take people back and forth to football, to work, everywhere else. And so in between those times, I might be designing new colors for a product line or shooting content in my kitchen for an easy recipe that I want to share. I might be working on speaker notes for an upcoming presentation or conference that I'm doing. I like a lot of variety, but I'm also in a season right now where I'm decelerating. That's my word of the year, is deceleration. Even though I'm still busy every day, I'm saying no a lot to things that either, one, don't bring me joy, or they're just not able to pay me appropriately for the value that I bring. I'm able to say no to those. And what happens is when you say no to opportunities like that, the door opens for you to attract opportunities that are able to compensate you for the value that you bring to the table. And you can work less and earn more. So I'm in a season right now of doing more of that.
We talk about that a lot with in interior design with your ideal client. And same kind of thing. If you don't turn away the ones that aren't a good fit, then you don't have time for your ideal client. So that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I think that one of the things I talk a lot about at women's conferences is this idea of scarcity versus abundance mindset. And coming out of 2020, I mean, listen, we were all in a scarcity mindset, right? Like all of our projects, our clients, everything was canceled or put on hold. And so transitioning away from that. And when you do approach your job, your life, your projects from an abundance mindset, I firmly believe that like attracts like. So when you charge what the value is and your worth, you attract people that are willing to pay that.
Amen. Amen. Well, we need to wrap up here, but before we do, we usually do our serious and funny quote. And it's so funny when Kelly and I take turns writing the outline, and so we're the ones who are responsible for finding the quotes for that week. And so I start to get kind of stressed if I don't like have something, but if I do see something, then I kind of start to save it. So I've had these two saved for a little while, and I love them. All right, so the funny quote is, "I keep saying Alexa when I mean to say Siri, and I just can't believe I live in a time where I'm getting my servant robots' names mixed up." I've literally done that. All right, so the series quote, I love this too because it talks about you have to go kind of through the bad to get to the good. So this is, always remember this: grapes must be crushed to make wine, diamonds form under pressure, olives are pressed to release oil, seeds grow in darkness. Whenever you feel crushed under pressure, pressed, or in darkness, you're in a powerful place of transformation. Trust the process.
I love that. That is so great, Joanne. Yes.
That is a really, really good one. All right. So, Julianne, I wish we had more time because you have so much in your head and you've got so much great information. So what is the website that people can find you at? Is it JulianneTaylorStyle.com?
It is. It's JulianneTaylorStyle.com. But honestly, if you go to Instagram or TikTok, same username, you'll see a link there of all the different ways you can connect with me, which I think is so much easier.
Yes, please check her out. There's so much great stuff, Julianne. I feel so proud to know you because in the time that I've known you, you have reinvented yourself so many times that everything is just great. Everything's just great. So thanks for taking the time.
I loved spending time with you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Thanks for taking the time. All right. So thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you so much to Gabby Home for sponsoring this episode. Julianne for taking the time to be here. Please rate, review, and share this podcast, please. And then also a quick note, if you are going to be in Atlanta or want to make a special trip to Atlanta for the Design Influencers Conference, that is this August. I don't have the dates in front of me. I'm so sorry. But it's a great conference. Kelly and I will be speaking with our wonderful producer, who's in the background here, Russ Reba, about podcasting. So that would be great. And just have a great week, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly weekly for a lively conversation about trends, travels to industry events, current design projects, the good, the bad, and the ugly, do's and don'ts, product recommendations, and more. Be sure to follow the fun on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Kandrak-Cole. And of course, you've got to visit them online at kandrak-cole.com for more information.